All right, what's up, guys? So I tried to record this video like a bunch of times because I'm trying to give you guys as much information as I can about this dragon experience I had. But I'm starting to realize that, like, I don't think that I'm supposed to relay it the same way it was relayed to me. And the only reason I say this, right, because I'm very much about like not gatekeeping information, is that I'm trying to explain stuff almost in a non-linear way, right? Like how I experienced my experience, I was taught from like multiple different angles, and it all came to like one conclusion, right? It came down to one lesson. I was taught from like five different directions and came to one conclusion. I don't know if any of that stuff is making sense, right? I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to explain this, but it's very difficult to explain how they teach because they don't teach linearly. They teach from multiple different angles at the same time. And then it's like, you don't understand what's going on until you reach the end and you're like, oh, like you have like this kind of epiphany moment with them. So I'm gonna try to work backwards. I'm gonna see if this works better. Basically, what they were teaching, right? What I still needed to understand, even though I don't even know if conceptually is the right word. To a degree, I understand that like your internal state is very important to what's manifesting around you, right? Essentially, what this lesson came down to was that, right? But it was being taught to me at a deeper level than how I understood it, right? Like when you say that, it's very surface level, but it was like it was shown to me, like it was shown to me real time. And basically what was happening is that I was in a very deep meditative state, journey state, right? And there was a point during this state where things seemed like they were going really, really wrong, right? I was questioning everything. I was questioning everything up until that point in my life where I was like, I might have overdid it this time. You know, like I might have went too far. I'm not grounded enough to grasp whatever is happening right now, right? I was out there, you know what I mean? Like energetically out there, however you want to relate to that. Like I needed to be more grounded, and I was not grounded like in this kind of sensitive state that I was in. And I have methods to ground myself when I go into these like deep states, but the methods weren't working, right? My go-to tips, tricks, hacks for grounding myself was not working. It like I was like, okay, well, let's try listening to Chantress Seba, right? That's a YouTube channel that has a bunch of like light language and frequency music. That is like one of my go-to things to ground myself, but it was not working. And going outside and putting myself face first into the grass to ground myself to the earth was not working. I was still very much like not grounded and experiencing a lot of chaos, right? At some point when I ran out of options, I was like, okay, I need to breathe and just calm down and be present, because that's the only thing that I have left. I don't have anything left. I thought I was losing my mind, so I was just like, let me just breathe and be as calm and as present, even though everything else around me is in chaos, right? Like mentally, right? as soon as I did this, things started, it almost was like this big scary thing that seemed to be looming in my energy shifted. It shifted to something else. It immediately changed as soon as I became calm, as soon as I became present, and it changed to this thing where it was like, you're getting it now. You're getting it now, right? I had to be put through one of the most frightening situations of my life and see real time that I'm in control by being present. I teach about this and I talk about how this external environment that we're existing in is a reflection of your state of being. But when I was faced with something scary, very frightening, I didn't remember the thing that I was even teaching. And it took me to a different level of understanding, because I was able to take what it was that I felt like I knew and apply it, and it worked. The state I was in, the chaos that was going on, dissipated instantly because I became center. I wasn't looking for an outside answer, right? My initial was like, okay, I need to go to listen to this, or I need to go to the earth and go ground myself. I'm looking externally for some type of thing that's going to assist, but it wasn't existing because I was searching externally. The pieces inside, the pieces within, the pieces inner. If you can generate the piece inner, right? And literally all I'm doing is just, I'll stop whatever I'm doing and just breathe and focus on my breath. And this shifts reality. It shifts reality in a more peaceful, flowy way, right? Because you're not focused on what you're seeing. You're not focused on the big scary monster. You're not focused on the external. You're focusing on just breathing. And it's reflecting. And I saw it real time. I saw it happen before me. Like I'm panicking. And then when I stopped, when I had no choice but to stop and just be like, all right, like, you're out of options. Like, just chill, relax, breathe, just breathe. Don't think about anything else. Regardless of what's going on, don't think about anything else. Just breathe. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that led up to that, but trying to explain it how they explained it is just like, it's too much on my small mind. It's too much for me to try to explain it in the way that they was teaching it. And it wasn't even like a lesson I didn't know. It just took me to a further understanding of the lesson. And since that trial, a lot of stuff has been a lot more flowy, right? I feel like sometimes we can think that we understand a thing, but there's still more to understand about the thing that we think that we understand, if that makes sense, right? So I'm saying words and like, that's great. But words are very surface level. Like, I needed the practical experience, real time. Like, I needed to be faced with the danger. I needed to be faced with the fear. I needed to be faced with a challenge, real time, in order to find peace within all of that, right? So it's like, because I was faced with this dragon's trial, now when I'm faced with anything else in life that seems like it's not, great or going my way, or is scary or challenging or whatever, I'm still able to keep my center. I'm still able to find myself in balance, right? Everything happens for a reason. I know that that was presented to me in a way where I would grasp it in the best possible way, right? I remember them having a saying when I was in there, when I came to this conclusion that the chaos that was being shown to me, it was just my state of being, because I felt like there was, confirmation burp. I felt like there was some type of challenge or some type of enemy. The saying that they had was, it is the great teaching. It is the great teaching. It is the great teaching. The present moment, it is the great teaching. It is the great teaching. There's so much information existing in the now. There's so much information and so much to learn existing presently. If you can find your presentness, there's a lot of stuff that's here in the present. Not thinking about all the stuff that you have to accomplish and all the things that you got to do, not thinking about the traumas from your past and all that stuff. Not to say that you don't have to process those things, right? Like, do what you got to do to process it, but eventually you reach a point where it's like, I'm deciding to feel okay right here in the present, right now, right? Regardless of all of the stuff that's happened, all of the stuff that I think is going to happen, right? Regardless of all of that, I'm finding my peace right now. It's hard to explain this state a little bit. I just know that things are flowy. Things just seem to work out. Like, throughout the day, I'll just be like, all right, I need to take a second, breathe, focus on my breath. I don't spend a whole lot of time doing this. I just occasionally throughout the day I'll do that, and things just, blessings, opportunities, all types of stuff will just start popping up, or things just seem to work out. And my logical mind is just like trying to compare it to before. Like, is it just a moment of peace or a moment of things working out or whatever? But I believe truly that I'm generating my experience, right? As I said in my last video, if I had to put a label on what it is that I do, it's inner alchemy. I focus on making sure that I'm okay, because I know that when I'm not feeling okay, right, that things around me start to get a little bit disorganized. It happens every time. So I hope that this was informative. Take what you will with the experience. I really wish I could go into more details about exactly the things that were happening in the trip, but every time I try to explain it, it almost feels like I'm obstructing the flow, right? It's harder for me to talk. It feels weird. It feels weird, and I'm very much about like keeping myself in a state where I'm like, I feel like everything is just flowing out when I speak. So this is the best way I can describe it. And I hope that this was useful for somebody. And I appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.